Alright, compacting Christmas ideas continue. And I'm hoping other people out there will send links to the blog or something if you find in your internet travels cute homemade type Christmas things or things that you think would be good to include. So, recapping, I think we all know we're spending less money this Christmas. In fact, I was just reading. One thing I didn't do compact style when I was at the grocery store, because I went to a regular grocery store, seeing if they would have enough organic stuff to limit my shopping to one store. I find for me that limiting my shopping to one store vastly decreases my spending on groceries. And because, as I've talked about many times, I have, in general, pretty high food standards for the food that I cook, our food budget is probably, the truth is, I don't think that we spend more than a lot of people. We buy, I think, a lot less prepackaged foods, so in the end, I'm not sure it's more. Regular stores can be good for things that when they're on sale, but in general, I don't find that the organic stuff is cheaper. I'll also say I usually find the organic produce to be in horrendous condition, and I will say for people who haven't made the switch to organic, and if you're shopping at a regular store, which you probably are, and that's the stuff you have to have the idea, is it worth spending? My God, no, it's not. And really, do yourself a favor, and if you live anywhere near, a Whole Foods or something similar to that, take the time to just go investigate, and you will see that the produce is in impeccable condition, and you can feel that your money is well spent. When I was at this regular grocery store, I bought some tomatoes that looked like they'd been run over by a truck. It was appalling, yet I still had to buy them because I refused to buy the conventional. And I was so disgusted that I was just never going to go back to that store. But I have found that time and time again at conventional stores. So if that's your idea of what organic produce looks like and you're thinking, go to a more of a I will even say, even at the food co-op here, I find produce to not necessarily be in good condition. Whole Foods in particular, or I'll say even the other stores here aren't that great. I don't know what it is. But if you have a Whole Foods, go there. You will find the food is in good condition. And I will say, I know the one in Michigan, that they donated all the food that they didn't sell to Food Gatherers, which was a local food pantry. So instead of throwing it out in the garbage like many supermarkets do. That was a super tangent, but I just want to make that point because I know not everyone's made the switch, and I know some people are under those misconceptions. I will say, I don't think that we spend more than other people. I think I probably bring less in and maybe make more than other people. Maybe not. But I have, I have come up with several standby recipes that are cheap, and then I make some things that are not cheap. And in the end, it all kind of evens out. I'm trying to find more things that are cheap, but and I will also tell you that frozen organic produce is always cheaper, and that's another thing where if you have a Whole Foods, you are in luck, or if you're near a Whole Foods. We're not, but Mr. F does go for me and stock up on those things because they are so much cheaper than the name brand organic foods you get at your local stores. So really on par with conventional frozen food. And for the winter, sad to say, but that's, other than broccoli, organic broccoli, which you can pretty much always get in pretty good condition, we use a lot of frozen vegetables through the winter. So, anyhow, back on track. I'm sorry, Christmas. Yes, so my plan is to get, and I'm even more into getting them to just drop them off. I might start ordering them soon. Getting the postal service to drop off, 10 flat rate shipping boxes. They're free, which if you think about it, it's $8.95. I do need to see the size of this box before I commit to it completely. They have a bigger box for $12.95, which seems to me like a little bit too much. But if you think about it, otherwise you might have to buy a box and all that stuff anyway. So even if the shipping's cheaper, it probably comes out in the end. Putting in baked goods, my timeline for that, Kids are painting ornaments. We've got a little photo printer that we have had for 2 years but never plugged in, finally plugged in, because we haven't printed a picture in 2 years, people. And it's fantastic. It was little, it was great. We have it already. It was free. It was actually like a freebie with Mr. F's big camera. And I'll give you a recommendation, although it's a couple years old, so maybe you can find one for a cheaper price. It is a little Picture-Mate. I think it's Epson, right? Let me show you what it looks like. This little baby, tiny little thing, just makes 4x6s. I will say it was so fantastically easy to use. Totally into it. And the pictures came out really, really well. We had a photo printer from several years ago, and obviously the technologies have improved so much in that printer. Like, the pictures were always a little grainy, and this one's fantastic. So, print out some pictures, pop them in. I also have about 100 frames that in the basement that I had bought for different things and never used, and so I might put a frame picture in there because the weight isn't an issue. So, baked goods, ornaments, picture maybe. Here's another idea I had: making a holiday music CD. You know, just plain CDs, burning them ourselves aren't expensive. Yes? Have I told you that she's experimenting with loudness these days? Also, note, you might know I elongated the table for the missionaries, and I've turned it this way. And look how nicely it fits. It's fantastic. In case we ever adopt children, I know we'll be able to seat them at the table. And the kids are kind of into it because it's different. So, the only other thing I'm thinking about... She doesn't want anything, she really is just experimenting with that vocal sound. So I was thinking of burning a holiday music disc of either music we have, or if I find one. Wouldn't it be really funny if I put in the Mormon Tabernacle CD that I have? As a little subtle reminder of my past few months. In fact, most of my family knows about this whole saga, so that might be funny. Can you use a quiet voice, please? And my other thing is, I am looking for maybe a craft I could make. Because you know what craft is? An ornament or a garland or something made out of fabric or ribbons or yarn, something like that. So if people have an idea, I can sew. I cannot knit very well. It would have to be an incredibly simple knitting project. But if you have ideas for easy things to make like that, I would really be into it. I think I might be into that. We might make some... I'm just trying to make the box as festive and fun as possible with fun little treasures in there. Like, you know, we might make... One year Mr. F and I got really into making paper snowflakes. Believe it. I might put something like that in there, or, you know, I'm open. Does anyone know how to make... Obviously, I'm not going to be buying any more of those because she's still interested in them. But does anyone know how to make, like, window clings? I know sometimes in catalogs I see things made out of, I don't know, I mean, maybe those, like, you melt the crayons in wax paper, I don't know. So, I'm calling all craft ideas, because these are the ornaments we've got going so far. And I would kind of like maybe to have something that represents my own craft stylings. What about making some kind of a potpourri? I did find all these miniature pine cones at the Biltmore estate. I'm sure I wasn't supposed to steal them, but I did. I could collect more. That might be a good idea, wouldn't it? Maybe. So maybe I'll secretly be collecting pine cones. And then cinnamon sticks in there or something? I don't know. I'm calling all suggestions. If you make things or you come across something, a cheap kit or something you think I might be able to make myself, I have every color of felt, so I could make felt things. Alright, gotta go check.